Over the past 20 years of raising chickens as an adult, I've kept them in just about anything you can think of. So with some experience behind me, let's take a comprehensive look and make critical comparisons of the 3 most common chicken housing options, while also exploring some of the hybrid options at the end. We'll discuss the big 4: cost, upkeep, time demands, and the health and safety of the flock. Anything past that ain't really worth talking about. The 3 main contenders are the stationary coop, the chicken tractor, and the great wide open, aka free ranging. Contender number 1, the most common option I see, is the stationary coop. They do tend to be more aesthetically pleasing, but it may not be the right option for you. They are, in general, the most expensive option to build. However, if they are properly built, they can last a lifetime. Stationary coops are contained housing systems that contain nest boxes, coop space with a roost, and an enclosed run area. Upkeep and time demands on a stationary coop is moderate, since you'll have to address the fertilizer that gets dropped on a regular basis. The run area will also need to be cleaned occasionally, but how often depends on the size of it and how many birds you have in it. And being stationary, you would need to make them a dedicated area for a dust bath, since they're limited on places they can scratch around and make one. And this can be as simple as throwing an old tire in there and filling it up with diatomaceous earth, or DE. You can also get a scented dust bath infused with essential oils. I have a link for it down in the description of this video if you want them to smell good while they're bathing. Stationary coops score low in this comparison in terms of health, because if you let the cleanliness of the confined coop get away from you, you're asking for health problems. Respiratory issues, to be particular. And not only that, I believe in letting farm animals be the animals that they were intended to be. Now, I'm not weird about it, but that's just my personal preference. And by having a flock of chickens cooped up in a confined space that they can't get out of, just don't check that box for me. But I digress. And yes, I do have a stationary coop, and I'll explain my situation when we get to the end of this video and discuss the hybrid options. Stationary coops can score the highest in this comparison concerning their physical safety, since you can build a stationary coop as heavy duty as you want. But the trade-off for structural integrity is money. Contender number 2 is the chicken tractor. This is the least popular option that I see, and I'll tell you why. People are lazy. I'll explain what I mean shortly. The chicken tractor comes in second in terms of cost. The idea of a chicken tractor is to be able to move your birds to new ground as needed. To 1, keep them out of their mess and put them on new ground to scratch around and eat on. And 2, to use them as tools to work the soil underneath the chicken tractor, wherever you put it. Concerning cost, chicken tractors come in second place. Now, you can build them to whatever specs you want, but they're typically cheaper to build because you use less material, since they have to be light enough to move. I use the 2 dolly method to move ours around, but it's light enough that I could move it without them if I had to. The upkeep on chicken tractors is minimal as far as the structure goes. I built mine out of metal, but even if you use lumber, you're moving it often enough to where the wood never sets down in the ground, and it don't really have a chance to rot, so it should last a long time. The time demands is the killer when it comes to chicken tractors. They're typically much smaller than stationary coops, so they get nasty really quick. With a stationary coop, you could set up automatic feeders and waterers and only make a weekly trip to clean the coop out, other than the occasional egg run. But with chicken tractors, it is a daily task. Of course, that all depends on the size of it and the number of birds you got in there. But a good rule of thumb, move them every day. And that entails getting the feed out of there, getting the water out of there, so you can drag it along and putting it all back. You see why it's not a real popular option. It takes time out of every day that people don't want to spend fooling with their chickens. Concerning health and safety, chicken tractors score pretty high on chickens' health and in the middle when it comes to safety. Since you have to build them light enough to move, they tend to be structurally weaker than a stationary coop. But health-wise, they're on new ground every day. Therefore, they stay clean and the health concerns go down to almost zero. The final contender is free ranging. This is by far the cheapest method of raising chickens. All you really need to provide them with is somewhere to roost and some fresh water. And that could be as simple as building them a little ramp to get up to a low-hanging limb and a shallow bucket of water in the yard somewhere. Upkeep is essentially zero. time demands is essentially zero. This is the absolute best option for a chicken's health. They can get around, go where they want to, and eat as much as they can find. However, safety is absolutely zero. If you don't have anything between your chickens and whatever wants to snack on them, it's not going to be very long before you'll say, I used to have chickens. There are many different combinations you can use by mixing and matching these different options. But the one I like the most is having a stationary coop inside of a larger lot. This is perfect for our egg laying birds. This gives them the safety they need with the perimeter fence and the coop and an automatic chicken coop door and a polar bear. At night, they're shut up tight to keep any predator that may slip through the fence at bay until my polar bear can get to it and eat it. Using this hybrid setup between a stationary coop inside a larger lot, which is essentially like free ranging, the time demands for this method for me have went to almost zero. They have good health, they have multiple layers of safety, and they don't take very much of my time at all except for cleaning the coop occasionally. Probably the biggest benefit of our setup is they can be chickens. This lot is big enough they can run as wild and as free as they want to. I supplement my chickens with 22% layer pellets, and they can eat as many bugs and crickets as they can find. I also spoil them with black soldier fly larvae occasionally. Now that's a mile-high overview of the 3 different common chicken housing options that I see. But like in our situation, we found the best of both worlds to promote their health and safety and allow them to be chickens like they were intended to be. In closing, let me say this. The comment section is by far the most important aspect of this whole YouTube thing, in my opinion. I have learned things in the comment section below my videos. I have got video ideas from the comment section below my videos. And if we share our questions, our comments, and our concerns, and our experiences, the comment section of these videos would turn into a treasure trove of valuable information. So don't be scared to use it. Until next time, God bless. We'll see you on the next one.